Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Daybreak on Trust Television. Let's dive right into our discussion segment where we'll be talking about the art of filmmaking and its impact in the society. All right, today we'll be discussing all of that and its impact with a particular emphasis on Nigerian and African cultural representation. Now, in the world of film, stories have the power to shape perspectives, giving us an insight and understanding of ourselves and the world around us. So, we will be discussing the ways in which film can be used to preserve cultural heritage, promote diversity and inclusion, educate, as well as challenge stereotypes and misconceptions. We'll also be examining the ways in which film reflects and shapes our cultures, identities, and societies while exploring the challenges and opportunities facing filmmakers in Nigeria and Africa. So joining us via Zoom is Sani Mu'azu, a veteran filmmaker in both Kannywood and the Nollywood film industry. You're highly welcome and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. It's an absolute pleasure, to be honest, having you here. But first off, as we're talking about, the art of filmmaking and its impact in the society, it begs me to ask, how did you get into this industry? What prompted you? What prompted your interest in, diving into this industry from the get-go? Would like to hear a little bit of history of that.
Well, thank you very much. I would say that creativity, came naturally to me. I wouldn't say that there are clear pointers to how, I became interested in the industry. But as early as when I was a little kid in primary school, when television, came to being, I was glued to the small tube, and I had to force my father to buy his own TV because I won't leave the neighbor's house until, the show is over. And when I was old enough to start discerning, what I want to be in life, I was, strolling to the TV station in Jos to find out if I can get a role to play, even before I completed my, education. I am a very perceptive person, one who wants to create something fresh, something new, something time when I was not involved in creativity, eating, sleeping, bathing, whatever I do, I'm always, thinking about what to do, what to create, how to impact society generally. So I grew up like that. But the clear turning point in my life was when I came, in close contact with filmmaking. I was working with a TV station as a reporter, newscaster, without knowing that I was meant to be a filmmaker. When I came in close contact with film, I realized I had no place in the newsroom. All I wanted was to do something highly creative, to start something fresh. It could be fictional, but I just want to create something fresh, and I want to impact society, by doing that.
Well, that is actually quite interesting. Sorry
That's exactly what I wanted to
Maryam,
say.
that you started from the newsroom, and here we are. You're out there, a veteran, a filmmaker, and we've seen you all over, from Kannywood to Nollywood, everywhere, which is quite impressive, to be honest. All right, go ahead, Maryam.
Talking about Kannywood to Nollywood, both woods have their cultural representation. And Sani Mu'azu
True.
here is popularly known as the bridge between the Nollywood and Kannywood. We want to know how you were able to
Bridge
achieve
that
that.
gap. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
when we say you in Nollywood, we know you're representing Ariwa and what Ariwa stands for. How were you able to achieve that?
Well, let me start by saying that culturally, I really don't see, I'm a Nigerian. And as a Nigerian, both Kannywood and Nollywood are themselves, a product of Nigeria. So I see myself as essentially a Nigerian. But the advantage I have is that I was ahead of Kannywood and Nollywood. I was already a creative person working with the TV industry, which was way ahead of Kannywood and Nollywood, and with the ability to work on both English, drama programs, telemovies, as well as Hausa, programs. So I was way ahead of Kannywood and Nollywood. Kannywood and Nollywood are, fairly below 30 years old. I am about 40 years old in the industry. So this is it. But you're right. There are cultural differences between Kannywood and Nollywood. And what I try to do is to essentially, stand by my values, by my cultural, background, by who I am. I always know that as a creative person, I am not just there for the heck of it. I'm there to, send a message, to tell a story that affects society and change society. So whether in Kannywood or in Nollywood, I try to maintain, a clear perspective as to what I want in society. And I have do's and don'ts. Reason why, I am able to stay this long. In Nollywood, for instance, I accept that I am, symbolizing the northern part of Nigeria, and I introduce, for instance, certain elements in my art that made it very easy for me to represent the northern part of Nigeria. As far back as some 20 years ago, when we did Sugar Niger, I was able to convince the director to, infuse Hausa language into my dialogue, which was essentially in English. And that became part and parcel of my identity. Each time I have a chance to play a role in Nollywood, I tried to ensure that Hausa language is, somewhere, in it, so that I can clearly, rep, the North. Uh, in uh, in Kannywood, I am who I am. I am Hausa. I'm Muslim. I am a Northerner, and I don't have to, be any different. But even then, I tried to be above board in terms of, how the roles I take, the way I carry myself in different roles, and the fact that I see filmmaking as serious business and not a joke.
All right. With all these elements that you've noted all through your journey, with anything, you can and anyone can encounter challenges when it comes to the profession, the job as well. So, how do you manage to overcome challenges, especially when it comes to, cultural differences, stereotyping as well as perspective from other people, especially if you portray yourself as someone from the north?
In terms of cultural representation, there are challenges always, and Nigeria is such a big country, and in Nigeria, we are always Nigerians are always trying to outdo each other. You hardly find, a situation where a northerner, in the midst of other Nigerians from the southern part of it, wouldn't want to downplay who you are, what you represent. And even that is a challenge. And your ability to stand, by all the drama, the intrigues that Nigerians have against each other, is one of the things, you must be able to, surmount to be able to fit into Nollywood. And I don't play second fiddle. I don't see myself as, a lower Nigerian than any other Nigerian. I stand by who I am, by what I am. I believe in who I am and what I represent. And in terms of the industry, I think with time, I was able to gain the respect of everybody. And this is it. But challenges could come from, in this industry, it could come from, your costumes, your props, transportation, feeding. Challenges can come from technical, angles like the camera, mic, and so on and so forth. Our ability to surmount challenges in the industry is actually what makes the industry what it is today. So it is not just about the storytelling aspect, but if we are talking about cultural representation, then storytelling is it. We are able to, surmount those challenges over time by working consistently and ensuring that we don't allow anybody to look down on us.
What role do you think filmmaking plays in shaping cultural narratives and influencing social attitudes in the society?
Filmmaking plays a great role in shaping, who we are. Filmmaking is all about, setting agenda for society. It's all about correcting misconceptions and, putting things in proper perspective. So no film that is worth its onion that does not have a clear message that it is trying to send, across. In everything we do as filmmakers, we are trying to, address a clear issue. In terms of culture, the narratives that define who we were, as Africans, as Nigerians, especially from the perspective of how the West sees us, was quite negative, quite demeaning, to say the least. I do say that as far back as when I started as a young filmmaker, I've always questioned this perception that Africans, are lower beings or lower in intelligence, to white people. For instance, I watched Tarzan, and Tarzan, shows a white boy in Africa who can talk to animals, who can communicate, and the Africans there, are themselves, in Africa, but they can't talk to the animals. They are just waiting for a white boy to come and lead them. And I've said it is wrong. As Africans, we understand Africa better than any other person. So there's no story that should make me feel, the white boy is more intelligent than I am. Today, in Kannywood and Nollywood, we've been able to put things in perspective. Africans are intelligent. They have their own problems. They try to solve their own problems, and they are not living on trees and with monkeys eating banana. They live in organized, civilized societies. addressing their own issues, and they have a place, within the world. They are people, just like any other person. I have traveled the world and I have seen the worst, of people in places you can't imagine. So I'm a proud Nigerian. I'm a proud Hausaman.
All right. As you mentioned earlier, you mentioned depiction is very important. You said at an earlier age you watched Tarzan, and that depiction made you feel like an African as a lesser person. But then right now, at this moment in this era, we have the proliferation of technology, and information can be disseminated as far and wide as possible. So do you think with this and the stride that both Nollywood and Kannywood film industry is taking is like changing the perspective and the narrative of what Africa, especially what Nigeria is as well?
Yeah, you are right. You're quite right on this. We live in a globalized world, and today, the whole world is a village. Um, the perception that the world had of what we are as Africans, as Nigerians, must have truly changed with the advent of information technology. Today, if you look at, say, Netflix, we, thus Nigerians, have been able to, make an impact utilizing Netflix. Netflix is an international platform. Wherever you are around the world, you can watch our flicks, and you can see us for who we are. You can discern, our cultural being, our entire being from our stories. We have told stories that showed Africans for who we are. We have been able to change, misconceptions, from the stories we've told. Netflix is just one. There are several platforms like that where, we are able to intelligently, show that Africans, are trendsetters. Africans are game changers, and we have also been able to make commentaries, on world affair. There are stories. I don't want to delve into, specifics, but there are stories that clearly shows that Africans understand what is happening around them, and you can't keep fooling them all the time.
All right. You mentioned about the misconceptions and stereotypes most of the Western countries sees Africans to be, because of course there are documentaries that shows the most negative part of African tradition and cultures. So now, how do you challenge and change these misconceptions through filmmaking?
Well, there are several ways we try to change, those misconceptions. But let me start by saying that each narrative that we tell uh, definitely, had a few things that one can watch and see, with regards to an issue. Let me try to be very specific on this. Um, a simple thing in our narrative, a simple thing as in seeing our roads or streets, tarred roads with people like you and I driving cars, showing the houses we live in, showing our relationships with our family, with children, and so on and so forth, that you see easily in movies, is enough to change the perception of how the world, sees us. If you've been, outside this country, many people don't believe we are that civilized, we are that normal, and when in stories we address issues, it could be family issues, husband, wife, mother, children, father, and all kinds of issues. Each time you watch, you are definitely going to be affected by the fact that in that exposition, we are showing that we are normal, as against the perception of people, about us. Uh, we in our stories we also address issues. Sometimes some of the issues could be, issues to do with, say, gender. In Fourth Republic, for instance, I played the role of a governor who was trying to, stifle, the growth of a young woman who wants to be governor herself, and her ability to withstand, the pressure that my character, put on her, and her ability to win the election clearly shows that we address fundamental issues like politics, in our midst, and gender, balance. I can give you more and more and more. We have addressed issues, like HIV, utilizing, our storytelling ability. So each story, uh, in its totality, is likely to affect the whole world in terms of how they see us, in terms of how they relate with us. Definitely, it is affecting, uh, the perception of the world, around us.
All right. It is known that you've been in this industry for over 3 decades. You've been in Nollywood, you've been in Kannywood. Are there any hopes of, branching out of the continent, maybe to Hollywood, and we can see other, actors or filmmakers diving into Bollywood as well. So, are there any of those in your future when it comes to filmmaking and acting as well?
Well, I have news for you.
All right,
Okay.
that's great.
I was in Hollywood as well. At least I have two
Oh,
different titles, to my name. I was part of Soweto, and I was
oh,
part of Mr. Johnson. These are all, Hollywood stories.
Yes.
So yes, I've been there. But in terms of the future, um, I am getting more excited with filmmaking. I think the sky is not even a limit for me. Hollywood, wherever, I'm ready for it.
that's
Oh, that's
incredible.
amazing.
So, can you please discuss a particular film or project that you think had a significant impact on the society? We've seen you in many films that talks about, and you even talked about some of the films and what you portray in the films. So, can you just discuss a particular film or project that you think can have an impact in the society?
Well, let me make it close home. Um, uh, Kwanache saying is one film that I know recently, affected the whole of the northern part of Nigeria, especially, but even beyond, uh, that I'm really proud of. In Kwanache saying, that's one project that we try to, let the common man, the common voter, see the intrigues or the drama that happens in boardrooms where politics is concerned. Many people do not know that the vote they carry, has plenty of power. And in Kwanache saying, we try to expose some of those dirty tricks that politicians uh, and people that want to grab power, apply in order to blindfold the common man and take power from them and use the power for their own personal or selfish interests instead of what it is meant for. And we try to educate people to realize that they are the building blocks for power. Power belongs to the grassroots. Power, the common man can use, what he has to change, the narrative. And the success of Kwana Chesaing is actually one of the things that makes me, feel complete as an actor. Wherever I travel to, I meet people, and I mean sometimes very common people who would, stop me to say, from your production, we've been able to understand who we are, and what we can do. Sometimes they say thank you. I think for me, this is one of my major accomplishments, as a creative.
Well, that's absolutely amazing for you to do some work and for it to impact a lot of people. And as a veteran, a person that's been in the industry for a very long time, what advice would you have for the upcoming filmmaker, the upcoming actor, someone that wants to get involved in the industry? What key advice do you have for them?
Well, my advice for upcoming filmmakers or actors is the industry is not as easy as we think it is. Most times we just look at the glitters and feel we'll just walk into it. It is hard work. It is not, in Hausa we say wasankwekwe, but in truth there is no wasa in this industry at all. It is hard work, and your commitment must be 100%, actually 101% if you can, to be able to make it in the industry. And you need to be consistent. You need to show resilience, commitment, and consistency to be able to make an impact. The industry itself is not as structured as how most people think it is. It is scattered, and so you must be able to multitask for you to be able to survive the industry. Sometimes it pays, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you are there for a long time waiting for the next break to come. But if you believe in it, in Hausa we say "Sake Yakubo Tachiu." If you believe in what you're doing, you will definitely, be able to withstand, these challenges, and you would be able to get to where I am or even surpass me. This is my prayer. I want young people to strive to do better than what I have done, to represent, us better than how I've done it. We have been here for, decades, but as we hand over the baton to younger people, we hope they will take the race faster than us.
One last one before we go. Are there any projects or collaboration that you're currently working on that you're excited about? And is there anything you would like to tell us or add to this conversation?
Well, there are always projects, in the offing. Right now, we are at the, scripting stage, of something new that we're about to do. And I'm super excited about it, but I'm sorry I won't give you the title or more about this. We need to be very careful, as usual. But the industry is always ready to, conquer new grounds. We are trying to see how we can bring something huge that will show the prowess of Northerners in storytelling. We are kings where storytelling is concerned. and we are packaging a northern story to show the world, that our cultural trajectory is fantastic. So just wait, keep following me, and you will be proud of this thing if you are a Nigerian. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here with us and sharing your insight on filmmaking and the industry in general. Thank you so much for being here, Sani Mu'azu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The conversation was a very insightful and enlightening one. Thank you very much for making it possible to join us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. That was Sani Mu'azu, a veteran filmmaker, both in Nollywood and Kannywood, and he even mentioned Hollywood as well, and he gave us an insight on what goes on, challenges they've faced. That was absolutely an interactive.
I totally enjoyed it, and it was very enlightening. I know the audience are very pleased with this. I've learned a lot personally too.
Absolutely. All right, that is all we can take for this segment. Make sure you stay with us for the next segment, where we'll be discussing on the happenings that you might have seen on social media as well. So make sure you stay with us so that you can be involved in this interaction. Don't go away.